Good evening. I'm Pia Hontiveros. This is News.PH, but it's not politics as usual. Tonight we have with us the newly elected Senate President, Senator Franklin Drillon. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you for inviting me.
I was just thinking that maybe we should change our OBB already because nandiyan pa si JPE. Dapat mag-shoot na tayo ng pang-OBB natin. Anyway, sir, let's begin with this. No? Was this victory in this fight for the Senate presidency on the heels of a Team Pinoy victory in the elections easier than 2001? Back then, that was People Power Coalition. And well, I remember the votes then when you ran for Senate President was what, 13-11?
I can't remember what the votes were, but in any case, yes, it was relatively easier than if you compare it to 2001 because of the very clear majority of the Team Pinoy candidates winning in the election, and principally because of the strength of the President's performance, that the message was very clear, put across by our people. They want to continue the reforms that the President has started. And therefore, when we presented ourselves as a possible leader of the Senate, we were accepted as a Senate President.
Well, you had a very popular president who had very huge political capital anyway.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Well, let's go, sir, through the list of 24 senators and how each of them voted. And that is why we are standing here. So let's begin with, so that people can see what we call immersive graphics. So there's Frank Drillon on the right and Senator Juan Ponce Enrile on the left. I'm sorry, Drillon on the left and Enrile on the right. If you're facing the TV, syempre, the monitor. So that's Angara, Sani Angara, LDP. Of course, he voted for you.
He voted with us. He's in the majority.
All right. And he got what committees?
He got Ways and Means, which is a very critical committee, considering the economic laws that we will debate on, and sports and games and amusement.
Ways and Means, even if he is a freshman senator?
Well, he's a lawyer, and he has had exposure to matters involving taxation in the House.
But he wanted education, right?
Yeah, but his education was initially bidded for by a senior member of the Senate, Cheese, and ultimately it ended up with Pia Hontiveros.
Okay, we'll get to that in a while. Of course, after Sani Angara, there's Bam Aquino of the Liberal Party and of Team Pinoy also, first cousin of the President. He got Committee on Trade?
Trade and Commerce, which is his advocacy. And he got youth, women, and family relations, principally because of the youth agenda and platform that he ran under.
Okay, we're doing this alphabetically. So next is Nancy Binay, of course, with the United Nationalist Alliance, daughter of the Vice President, Jojo Binay, who is slated to run in 2016. We'll talk about 2016 in a little while. Your and LP's plans. But Nancy Binay, of course, voted for JPE. And tell us a little bit about chairmanships that were offered to the minority.
I can't pinpoint which chairmanship will go to Nancy, but today and this afternoon I asked our majority leader to relay to the minority group that we are offering them 5 committees: Economic Affairs, Labor, Agrarian Reform, Urban Planning, and one more. There were 5 committees that we offered to them, and these are not small committees, these are good committees. So what they will have will be their choice, but we have given them, in order that we can work together, almost major committees.
Yeah, although at least one of them will not have a committee if...
No, we will not have a committee because the minority leader is a member ex officio of all committees, and he does not usually head a committee.
All right, let's go back to the list. Alan Cayetano, he is, of course, Nationalista Party and Majority Leader.
Majority Leader and Chairman of our Committee on Rules.
That is parang a bow to the Nationalista Party as an important, integral part of Team Pinoy?
Well, as a coalition partner, yes, we asked Alan to act as a Majority Leader in order to emphasize that this is a coalition in the Senate.
Okay. And then, of course, after Alan Cayetano, his sister, Pia Cayetano, also within the Nationalista Party, may balita na siya dapat yung Senate President pro tempore, no? Tapos, hindi naman pwedeng dalawang magkapatid.
No, in fairness to both of them are extremely qualified. And Pia has handled in the last Congress, I think even the last two Congresses, the Health Committee, and last year she passed the RH law. It's a very difficult bill. So this year, she wanted another field of which also related. This is the Committee on Education, and she becomes the chair of the Committee on Education and the vice chairman of the Committee on Health.
Okay. And then, of course, after Pia Cayetano, there's you, Senator Drillon, and you did the statesman-like thing and voted for?
In accordance with tradition, I voted for Senator Drillon.
And of course, he follows, since this is alphabetical, and he voted for you.
Yes, because it's a little awkward that you vote for yourself. So the tradition in the Senate is you vote for the opposing candidate.
Oh, a little awkward is an understatement, di ba? Parang ang lakas ng loob na bumoto para sa sarili. Anyway, okay. JV Ejercito Estrada, of course, with the UNA.
Yes.
And his brother, Jinggoy Estrada, also with UNA, who was acting Senate President for a while.
Acting Senate President because Senator really resigned, I think, the first week of June, and we just allowed Senator Estrada as Senate President pro tem to succeed in accordance with our rules.
Okay. Then there's Cheese Escudero. Wow, Committee on Finance.
Well, Cheese is a senior member, and he has had exposure to the debates both in the House and in the Senate. He was a minority leader in the House, and therefore had an opportunity to scrutinize the budget as the budget comes from the House. So he's extremely qualified, and I am confident that with Cheese at the helm of the Committee on Finance, we will be able to finish the budget before the year is over.
Would he also scrutinize the budget even if he is with a majority?
You saw it in the last Congress. I was the chair, and we did scrutinize, but we had to defend at the end of the day.
Okay. After Cheese Escudero, there's TG Gingona, Liberal Party. Ang dami niyang committee, ha?
TG retains his chairmanship in the Blue Ribbon Committee. He took over the Health Committee from Pia. And, well, the third committee is actually a committee because of necessity. And this is the Committee on Peace Unification. Because this will now handle the amendments to the Organic Act in Mindanao once the peace agreement is signed. And TG, being a lawyer and from Mindanao, fits to a T the need for the chair of the committee that will push for the amendments to the Organic Act.
Isn't the Blue Ribbon Committee the committee na pinag-aagawan kapag medyo hindi popular ang administration?
Yes,
Paano ba yan?
because it's a high-profile committee. It's a high-profile committee. It attracts media attention. It attracts public attention.
And then there's Gregorio Onasan, of course, also with the United Nationalist Alliance, who voted for JPE. And then, like you said, sila nang bahala na paghatian nila yung 5 committees that were offered to the minority. And then, Lito Lapid of Lakas.
Is in tourism.
Yes. And he voted for you, ang Lakas.
He voted, yes.
Oh, saan pa sila sisilong? Parang ganon?
No. Well, Lito has been in the Senate for quite a while, as a senior member, and we sat down with him and asked for his vote.
So why are they with you? Because in the House, they're on the other side. Then. And by the way, the Nationalista Party, some NP, Bella Flor Angara Castillo did not vote for Sonny Belmonte. Di ba?
Well, yes.
Interesting dynamics.
Political parties in the Philippines sometimes takes a secondary position when it comes to voting. So I'm not surprised.
Okay, so Lito Lapid, like you said, Committee on Tourism, and then Lauren Legarda.
Lauren has always identified herself and is always identified with environment. So she takes the Committee on Environment and Committee on Climate Change.
And Cultural Communities.
And Cultural Communities.
Okay. Serge Osmeña.
Serge Osmeña will take energy and banks, which are his committees in the 15th Congress. It has not yet been put on the floor, but that's his committee. He will retain those two committees.
And he has an additional assignment, which we'll talk about in the second half of the show, sir. Bongbong Marcos.
Bongbong Marcos retains his local governments committee and also the Committee on Public Works.
Okay, Nationalista Party. Coco Pimentel.
Coco Pimentel takes the Justice Committee and is our representative to the Judicial and Bar Council, and also the chairman. He also is the chair of the Committee on Electoral Reforms.
Something very
his
close to
agenda
his heart.
or his advocacy being a clean and honest election during the campaign.
Grace Poe.
Grace Poe takes public order and illegal drugs. This is the committee which oversees the Philippine National Police. And she takes also the Committee on Public Information and Mass Media.
Interesting, ano? Public order went to her. Why?
Well, she wants to try her hand on this because peace and order is a serious issue in our society today.
These used to be the committees of Greg Onasan.
This used to be the Committee of Greg Onasan.
Okay, Ralph Recto.
Ralph Recto is the Senate President pro tempore. I think he's going to take, in addition, just one committee is the Committee on Science and Technology.
And then Bong Revilla, another lakas.
Bong Revilla retains his Public Services Committee, which he held in the 15th Congress.
Okay, then of course, that was a whole long list of people who had voted for you. Then Tito Soto voting for Juan Ponce Enrile.
Yes.
And then there's Sonny Trillanes, another Nationalista Party.
That's correct. Sonny voted with us in the majority. He takes the Committee on National Defense. And I'm trying to recall the second committee, but the major committee is the Committee on National Defense.
Okay, and then Cynthia Villar.
Cynthia Villar takes the Committee on Agriculture and the Committee on Government Corporations.
Oh, government corporations. Okay, so there's 17 of them who had voted for you, and 6 who had voted for Enrile. But of course, since we're trying to do a balance of power assessment here, the administration or majority has 18 because Miriam Santiago.
Miriam Santiago is with the majority. The only reason why he was not around is that because there's a medical issue. I think he gets fatigue. Something on fatigues. I can't remember what it is. It's a technical term in medicine. So
yeah, okay. So what we need to do in the graphics here, just to make it very clear, because earlier we had shown that JPE had voted for you and you had voted for JPE, so we're just exchanging.
That's right.
Nagpalit lang kayo. And of course, the administration majority has with Miriam 18.
That's correct.
Correct. And the opposition minority has 6 still. Cynthia Villar, by the way, had said, since she was the second to the last senator we had mentioned, she had said during the SONA that, because I asked her, saan ang Nationalista Party sa 2016? And she was saying, in so many words, hindi pa nila alam.
Yes, because 2016 is 3 years still, 3 years away. And by the way, before you leave the committees, in the Commission on Appointment, the minority will have 3 out of 12 votes, and the majority will have 9.
9, okay.
Okay, so the Senate contingent to the Commission appointment will have 9 administration coalition members and 3
and Senate
minority.
contingent headed by?
By the Senate President.
Okay, all right. Since we talked about 2016, i-push lang natin to. Last year you had said that Ma Rojas is going to be the Liberal Party standard bearer. How will this Senate be helpful to him and the Liberal Party?
Well,
Would it be?
It will be helpful in the sense that we will exert every effort to achieve or to pass the legislative agenda, which we believe will do good for our country and strengthen the administration and in terms of achievements, and therefore the endorsement of the president becomes a very critical factor in 2016.
Someone asked on Twitter, his name is Wilson Lee Flores, and I told you this right before the show, and he said, and I quote, does he want to run for president 2016? Do you want to run for president 2016?
You know, I'm no longer a member of the Rotary Club, so that was the only organization where I could run for president.
Uh-huh.
No.
No?
No.
So who's
That's
going to be
not
the
in my
LP
mind.
standard bearer for 2016?
A year ago, I already said it.
Yeah.
And he's our standard bearer.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we were just thinking that in the last election, as campaign manager, you were campaigning also like a candidate.
No.
Or at least you were quite popular. I mean, hindi, ang kwento ng mga kasama mo, pag pupunta pag umaakyat kayo sa stage, you know, people react to you the same way they react to the candidates.
Well, maybe because of my long years of exposure, but let me make it very clear that I never tried to grab the attention.
We're not accusing you of anything, sir.
No. Because honestly, because you know, I had the difficult task of being a filler when after all the candidates have spoken and the president is not yet there. You know, they give the mic to me. I couldn't sing, so I have to speak. That's the long and short of it.
Okay, we're going to have to take a short break. Senator Drillon, News.PH. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching News.PH on the Solar News Channel. I'm Pia Hontiveros. Our guest tonight, Senate President Franklin Drillon. Senator Drillon, apart from the committee chairmanships, we had mentioned a special assignment for Serge Osmeña.
Well, no, it's really an ad hoc, and we ask Serge as one being sharp in figures. I mean, real figures, not the other kind of figure. Well, we asked Serge to take a look at the funds of the Senate, the budget of the Senate Office of the Senator, the committees, etc. And we will come up with recommendations in order that we can show that indeed reforms are being undertaken. Like, you know, we expect some savings in the budget, which we expect to return to the Treasury, and we'll see what kind of measures we can take in order to lower the cost of operation.
Is this your answer to last January's Senate fund controversy?
No, well, it's. I guess whether or not there was that controversy, it really there's really a need to review our operations because you know, the budget keeps on growing every year, and we just have to take a look and see how we can contribute our share in trying to save public funds.
Even as he is still yet to make recommendations, there have been several proposals. You know, several of the senators have been talking about many things. Like, for example, there was talk about liquidation.
Yes. Okay.
So from now on,
the issue first.
Let
Let me make it very clear. We will follow COA rules now. The issue really is, can we liquidate through certification that we have incurred the expense? Firstly, let us make it clear that the COA rules allow liquidation by certification. And this is not only for the Senate, this is also for the House, this is also for the Office of the President, and even the Supreme Court. So this is not, it is not as if we're the ones, only ones doing this. So we will follow the COA rules insofar as what is allowed to be liquidated by certification, because by the very nature of our job, you cannot get receipts first, for example. Very common to us. People would come for medicine, hingi ng pera para gamot, pamasahe. Mahirap naman yung papirmahin mo and all, or you know, so
or bumalik kayo dito, bigyan mo kami resibo.
To a certain extent, there is what you call the extraordinary and miscellaneous expenses, or EME is called in the audit language, which allows liquidation by certification. When, for example, in a Senate investigation, you house a witness. We have no funds for the witness protection program. We have legislative witnesses, which some committees would support. And in many times you cannot have a receipt on this. So there are certain rules where the COA would allow liquidation by certification. So we will follow this. We will follow the rules.
But when it comes to, for example, yung pagbibigay ng gamot, isn't that a result of how people look at politicians, senators, and congressmen?
Well, it's also out of necessity.
It's an inescapable reality?
Well, this is a reality. That's why we want to strengthen and really put to work our field health program, because I tell you, we have a public assistance center in the Senate. It does nothing but receive people who would be requesting for help in terms of principally of hospitalization and medicine. You wouldn't believe the number of people who would seek us and seek our assistance insofar as this would.
Can you give us an idea, for example, Senator, last year, 2012, how much did you give out in, medical assistance?
In my case, I place my funds in, let's say, National Kidney Transplant, NKTI, for the patients who would want to undergo dialysis. I placed 25 billion just in one hospital. And it doesn't even, before the year is over, that's all finished. And absolutely there is no leak, because the money goes to the hospital directly, and if there are referrals, they just go there and the funds would be debited against the expenses. So you talk about magnitudes, and that's not even enough, because apart from that, there are people who would, I have another sum in the Philippine General Hospital, and but yet there are people who would come to us outside of that. So it's an issue which we must face on a daily basis.
And resolve hopefully with.
Yeah, that is why hopefully we would be able to fully fund the field health program through the sin tax law, which we expect to generate, say, over 33 billion this year, and in the next 4 years, over 200 billion in order to fund our field health program.
Will you, as former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, have huge funds at your disposal that you can distribute among senators? May ganun pa rin po ba?
Honestly, I am just 3 days in my job. I don't even know what is the budget. I'm being honest. I was not there for the last 3 years. The last time I was Senate President was 2006. So that's 7 years ago. I can't even remember what was the fund of the Senate President or the office of the Senate President, much less have I seen the budget for the last 3 days. I've been trying to settle all the committee chairmanship, and I have had no time to take a look at the budget of the Senate President.
Another issue that was brought up was yung slashing of funds for the ad hoc panels, like the oversight committee.
Yes, Senator Serge is reviewing that at this point, because there are really some committees which have outlived its usefulness. To cite a specific example, you have the Oversight Committee on the Visiting Forces Agreement, things like that. Or the
would that be useful now, if they're going to come and spend more time here and use forward these arrangements?
Or there are other committees like this Oversight Committee on the Special Purpose Vehicles. But many of these committees, or some, not many, but some of these committees, or a good number of these committees, would be provided by law. So what we will do is look at it. If it's no longer valid, if it has fulfilled its mandate, then we just do not fund them.
Okay, and then the money just goes back to the national.
That's correct.
Yung special purpose vehicle ad hoc oversight.
I'm just citing that as an example.
Would you know?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know how much is the budget there, if there's any budget. But I was just citing that as an example, as an oversight committee provided by law.
At ang matitira na lang daw 20 or 24 oversight committees?
Maybe 20.
Why that number? 20?
Maybe 20. Maybe 20. I don't know. you know, those are studies being done. These are studies being done. I can't give you the figure with finality.
So the purpose is yung internal reforms, transparency.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. There are two more questions from Twitter. Jester in Exile had asked, "What's your plan regarding RA 10175 after the indefinite TRO by the Supreme
Which is
Court?"
what is this? What is 101?
10175, repeal or amend?
What's this?
10175.
Is that the RH law?
Is this RH? No, nalagot, nakalimutan ko na yung number. Is this the RH? RH law? Let's go back to that in a while.
I don't really know what it is, yes.
Cybercrime, I'm sorry, cybercrime. Naku, magagalit si Jester in Exile. Sorry, Pierre.
Cybercrime.
Siyempre, it is about cybercrime because it's Jester in Exile asking.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is, will you repeal, amend, or wait for the decision?
There were, in the last Congress, there was an attempt to amend it. I know that we discussed it in caucus. At this point, Pia, I don't know if an amendatory bill has been filed. I have, and maybe we wait for the Supreme Court decision. That even may be faster.
Okay. There was another question from Pinoy Mommy. Why are they worried to investigate the PDAF scam when they're usually eager to do this?
No, we're not worried.
This is going to be part of Serge Osmeña's...
No. We are not worried. We have stated our position. We have a conflict of interest if we investigate our own members. We have a conflict of interest, and because of that, we will not be credible as a body.
Yeah.
I would
not
rather...
even the Committee on Ethics?
Not even the Committee of Ethics. All right, let's put it this way. Let the independent bodies like the Ombudsman and the NBI, who we have confidence in, conduct the investigation. After they come up with the results of the investigation, then we decide whether to conduct any further investigation or act on the basis of the report.
But do you agree that either the senators allegedly involved should be either cleared or charged? Para matapos na, di ba?
Yes.
I mean,
those who, if there's consent, they should be cleared in order to protect their names. If they did, there's basis, they should be charged, and I'm sure they're willing to face this.
Okay. Final words, Senator Drillon?
Well, thank you very much. And this is not an easy job, being Senate President. You have to take care of 23 egos. There are 23 republics in the Senate. But we're willing to take the challenge. We want to help the President. We want to help this administration and achieve the legislative agenda that we have set for ourselves. So we're asking for a little patience on our people. Legislation is really, it cannot be fast-tracked. We have to debate, and the debate is needed in order to come up with good policies. But we can assure the public that this will be a sensitive Senate, who will be listening to the people and their needs.
Lahat pala, sir, pahabol lang, lahat ng hiningi ni Presidente, ibibigay niyo ba? Yung mga sinasabi niyang kailangan batas?
Well, the legislative agenda that is now before us was the same legislative agenda in the 15th Congress, which were not acted upon. So it's not na hinihingi ni Presidente, but this was already agreed by the legislature at the time. So we don't see any reason why we should not pursue it.
Do you need LEDAC?
Well, yes, we need LEDAC, but right now, we would, since the parameters have been set by the previous LEDAC and the parameters are still the same, we will pursue what the LEDAC has put as part of the legislative agenda in the 15th Congress.
Okay. Thank you very much again, Senate President Frank Drillon. We hope to have you back here, sir.
I will.
Ganito na naman pag may botohan ulit. Nako. Maraming salamat.
Pag bubutohan ulit.
Maraming salamat po, sir. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching. I'm Pia Hontiveros. This is News.PH. See you again next Wednesday. Good night.